Welcome to a peaceful painting space where we will together draw the image of a familiar plant that is closely associated with the beauty of the Vietnamese countryside, the bamboo tree. Today I will guide you through each step slowly and easily so that you can create a soft, vivid bamboo painting capturing the rustic and strong spirit that this plant symbolizes. You do not need to be good at drawing, just relax your mind. Let your hands move freely and let each stroke gradually form your own rhythm. Before you start, look at the white paper in front of you. Imagine a bamboo clump leaning gently in the wind. The slender bamboo stalks reaching up the bamboo joints are even, and each bamboo leaf is small, long, and drooping down very naturally. To create a harmonious whole, take a second to choose the main position of the bamboo clump, which can be shifted to the left or right depending on the composition you want. In this tutorial, I'll be tilting the bamboo slightly to the right to create a sense of movement and softness. Start by drawing a long straight line from the bottom up, curving slightly to one side. This will be the main stem of the first bamboo. You don't need to draw it perfectly. A little curve, a little shakiness can even make it look more natural. Once the first stem is done, draw one or two more stems next to it, perhaps a little higher or lower to add some variety. Bamboo never grows alone, but always in clumps, so having more stems will help to make the drawing more dynamic. Once you have the main stem lines, start sketching in the nodes. Each node is a very distinctive part, so gently draw horizontal lines that intersect the stem at regular intervals. These lines don't have to be perfectly straight. Bamboo in nature is never perfect, so a slight deviation makes the drawing more realistic. In each of those horizontal lines, you can add a small curve around the bamboo stem to create the feeling of the bamboo bulging in the middle and constricting at the ends. Once the bamboo junction is formed, move on to the small branches that grow from the junctions. From a few places on the stem, draw thin diagonal lines towards the sides. This is where the bamboo leaves will grow. Bamboo branches are usually soft and thin, so keep your hand gentle, not too strong or too straight. Next, we will move on to the bamboo leaves, one of the elements that create flexibility for the drawing. Bamboo leaves are long pointed and hang down gently. Start with a bamboo branch and draw a long, slightly curved, diamond-shaped leaf. You can add 3 to 5 leaves to each branch. Have them point in different directions, but still be balanced to create the feeling of the wind blowing through the bamboo bush. Once you have completed a few branches and leaves, the painting will start to have some softness and movement. Then you can go back to the bamboo and add some small details like slight cracks, thin veins running along the stem to make the bamboo look more natural. Bamboo in nature is often a little scratched, a little rough, and when you add these small details, the painting will be much more realistic. Now let's create the base of the bamboo. At the end of the bamboo, you can draw some grass, some gentle curves to create the feeling of the bamboo growing from the ground. If you want, you can add some fallen leaves below to increase the softness and connection between the bamboo and the ground. Once the overall frame has formed, take a step back and look at the sketch. This is a good time to edit the lines that are too curved or too straight. Add or remove some branches and leaves to balance the composition or lengthen a bamboo stem to make the painting more harmonious. It is perfectly normal to make some corrections at this stage and help the drawing achieve its most natural spirit. Once you are satisfied with the sketch, start drawing lines. Using a pen or liner, follow each bamboo stem line very slowly. You can press harder near the bamboo nodes and lighter in the middle to create a natural thickness and thinness for the lines. When drawing the leaves, keep your hand relaxed and draw a decisive line to create flexibility. Bamboo leaves look best when the lines are unbroken and the direction is smooth. After drawing lines, take a few minutes to let the ink dry completely, then use an eraser to gently erase all the original pencil lines. When the pencil layer disappears, a clear bamboo bush will appear clearly before your eyes. This is a great time to feel the drawing is gradually becoming complete. Now we move on to shading or coloring. If you want to keep the painting traditional, you can use only black pencil or ink to shade. Start shading lightly on the side of the bamboo that is not in the light. You can choose the left or right side depending on the direction of the light you imagine. The part of the bamboo near the node will usually have a darker shade while the middle part will be lighter. When shading, remember to use small even strokes along the bamboo to create a natural texture. If you want to color, prepare different shades of green from dark green to light green. Bamboo stems are usually pale yellowish green while bamboo leaves come in many different shades of green. Start with the bamboo stem, apply a light even layer of color, then add darker layers on the sides to create depth. With bamboo leaves, apply color from the base to the tip to create a natural gradient effect. Some small details such as the shadow of the leaves on the bamboo stem or the overlapping leaves can be highlighted with dark green to create a sense of space and layering. Remember that you don't need to paint too evenly. The alternating light and dark areas are what make your drawing look more lively. Finally, look at the whole picture. You can add a little light background like a hazy sky behind or some small grasses at the foot of the bamboo to complete the composition. But if you like the minimalist style, just the bamboo bush standing alone on the page is enough to create a delicate beauty. Thank you for joining me on this creative journey. From the initial simple lines, you have created a vibrant bamboo painting full of simplicity but strong. Bamboo is a symbol of resilience, and that is also the spirit that each painting brings. If you would like to continue with other plants or any other theme, please let me know. I wish you always find joy in every stroke and a day filled with creative inspiration. Welcome to today's drawing session. We're going to embark on a fun journey, not by actually taking off, but by drawing an airplane gliding through the sky. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned artist, I believe that if you relax, listen, and let your hands move naturally, your drawing of an airplane will gradually emerge clearly and vividly. Get your drawing paper, pencil, and some basic tools ready. We'll go slowly to make sure you're on track. First, look at a blank sheet of paper in front of you. Imagine the airplane you want to draw: a large airliner with long wings, a slim fuselage, and a rounded nose. In today's composition, we'll have the airplane flying diagonally from left to right to create a clearer sense of movement. Start by sketching a long diamond shape in the middle of the page. This will be the main body of the airplane. You don't need to draw it too straight or too precise at first, just leave it long and lean enough for us to easily build the details inside. Once the diamond is complete, gently round out the left end. This is the nose of the plane where the cockpit is located. Make it a soft curve to make the nose look more aerodynamic and modern. Next, move on to the tail. On the right side of the diamond, gradually reduce the body and end with a nearly flat section to make room for the tail fin. Once both the nose and tail are formed, you will see that the fuselage has become much more defined. Now for the wings. The important part that gives the plane its distinctive shape. Choose a position about a third of the fuselage from the nose. From this point, draw a diagonal line upwards to the right about halfway down the fuselage. Then connect that line back to the fuselage with a soft diagonal line, creating a triangle with slightly rounded corners. That's the left wing of the plane when viewed from a side angle. Next, do the same on the bottom of the fuselage to create the other wing, but make it a little shorter to create a sense of depth. The difference in size will help the viewer visualize the plane tilting and flying diagonally. After the main wings are in place, move on to the tail. At the tail from the top edge, draw a small vertical wing in the shape of an elongated triangle. This is the vertical steering wing. Then on the tail body, draw two small horizontal wings on either side, each pointing slightly backwards. Don't forget to make the wing closer to the viewer, larger than the one further away, to maintain proper perspective. Now go back to the fuselage and start adding the distinctive details of the plane. On the rounded nose, draw a small oval shape for the cockpit window. You can divide the window with a diagonal line to create the feeling of a real glass frame. Moving along the fuselage, draw a row of small oval or square windows aligned along the length of the plane. The windows closer to the front of the plane should be slightly larger, as the angle of view makes them more visible. For the far side, you can just draw a thin row of windows as the opposite side of the fuselage is partially hidden. Next, sketch in the engines. The plane in this tutorial will have two engines mounted under the wings. From the underside of the wing closest to the viewer, draw a thick oval at the front, followed by a larger circle behind to give the impression of a long, strong engine duct. You can also add some curves at the top of the engine to represent the exhaust fan. For the far side of the wing, draw a smaller engine and hide it partially under the wingtips to create depth. Once the main details are in place, look back at the whole thing and make adjustments. You may find the wings are a little short, the fuselage a little long, or the engines are off balance. This is the time to boldly edit, because in the sketching stage we can easily change the lines without affecting the overall composition. A little time spent on balance will help your final drawing to be more harmonious and professional. When you feel satisfied, start drawing with a pen or liner. Starting with the fuselage, make a solid even line, not too thick. The fuselage should have a continuous and clean line because it is made of flat and smooth metal. When you get to the wings, you can make the lines a little thicker at the intersections to create a sense of volume. For windows and small details, keep the lines thin to avoid making the drawing too heavy. Once the ink is dry, erase all the original pencil lines. This is a great feeling because the plane will appear clear, sharp, and look exactly like a miniature design. Soon after, we will move on to the important step: shading or coloring. Once the ink is dry, erase all the original pencil lines. This is exciting as the plane will appear clear, sharp, and look like a miniature blueprint. Then we move on to the important step: shading or coloring. If you want to keep it monochromatic, use a pencil to lightly shade the belly of the plane, the underside of the wings, and the underside of the engines. The shading will be darker in areas that receive less light. You can use thin layers of shading, gradually increasing the thickness to create a metallic effect. On the fuselage, you can add some curves running from front to back to simulate the reflection of the sky on the fuselage. If you want to color, prepare the basic colors, such as blue, gray, black, and white. The fuselage can be kept white or light gray, while the tail and wings can be outlined in a more prominent color, such as red or blue. You can leave the color dark at the tail and fade towards the front, creating a sense of movement. The engine is usually painted dark gray, while the cockpit window can be painted light blue to create a reflection of the sky. After finishing the color, add some background to make the picture more vivid. You can draw some clouds drifting around the plane or add curves behind the fuselage to simulate the path of movement. If you like the minimalist style, you can keep the background blank so that the plane becomes the only focus. Each way brings a different feeling depending on the style you want to express. Finally, admire your work. From the initial simple sketches, the plane has appeared, sharp, soaring, and carrying the freedom of the vast sky. Drawing a plane is not just creating an image, but also the feeling that you are putting your mind on a journey. Thank you for accompanying me throughout today's drawing session. If you want to continue with the transportation theme or any other theme, let me know. I wish you always keep your creative passion and continue to fly far with your own drawings.